know what she said, she might just change your life.
Interesting that you do an album to pay tribute to somebody that who you don't feel really received the recognition that they deserved. And meanwhile, you know, I mean, you're famous, but we have lots of young talent that come in here, young, starting out, you know, people like Nelly Furtado when you discovered her, but years later, who talk about the fact that in this country it's really hard to be recognized.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard in any country now.
Is it? Is it
yeah.
that hard in the U.S.? Is that just a myth that everybody has to be recognized in the U.S.?
No, it's hard anywhere. You know, I think a lot of Canadians get frustrated by the fact that their own country doesn't really seem to recognize their art until they get that affirmation from the United States, and that's a real thing. But again, that could just be numbers, because, you know, I try to remind people Canada is a very small country. You know, 30 million is real small, and I don't think it's so much that like an American liking your music is more important than a Canadian liking your music, but it's just that if you're popular in America, you got 300 million Americans liking it, and then if it goes and gets exported around the world, so you have like 20, 30 different countries all of a sudden following what happens in the United States. Whereas in Canada, you know, you have your 30 million people here, and then if you're popular in Canada, you know, they're not going to hear about you in Italy or France or, you know,
Do you think it's even tougher now, because if you go back in the day, the record companies ruled, and if they grabbed you, you had the promotion machine. Record companies have been downsized because of the economic downturn in the industry, and everybody who wants to perform and record can upload their stuff somewhere online. It may not be on iTunes, but it'll be somewhere online. And just the sheer volume of stuff out there, is it harder to rise to the top?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. If your music is just good, then it's real hard to rise to the top. But if your music is great, then I think it's easier to get to the top, if you know what I mean. Because people can discover you, and it can really happen sort of word of mouth. But, you know, my approach has always been make it great and they'll come. You know, so I'm always just aspiring to make great music.
Well, you're interesting, though, because you're a musical force of your own, and yet you have discovered and promoted other people, and you're still doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us about Nelly Furtado.
Yeah, well, you
and
know
why
that...
would you, I mean, a lot of artists would not do that.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I love that. I love, you know, when you produce and write with another person, you get to be a part of something that you couldn't do on your own. You know, like working with Kanan, who's a Somali rapper. You know, I love rap music. I'm not a rapper and I can't rap, but I've written and been a integral part of all these different rap songs because I've been able to work with rap artists. And you know, I'm not a young female, but I like, you know, writing songs that are from that perspective. And again, you get to sort of just broaden the type of music you can make. And it's just, you know, it's really exciting to see somebody start something and help them make something and then watch it kind of blossom. It's a real exciting journey.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.